You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Mango seltzer. You ever have one?
Can't say that I have. Mango sounds good though with it. Maybe not.
Okay, so these are the Carbon 4 hard seltzers. They're highly recommended by a lot of people around here. Let me give this another one. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I had the old Huckleberry. I thought it was fantastic. The mango. I don't know. It's light, crisp, mango-y. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like mango just isolated. It's kind of intense. It's nice. I don't know. The more I drank, I didn't like the initial. Obviously, the initial reaction wasn't good, but
that was priceless. That look.
I don't know. This is kind of this is slim. I don't know. It's still not my thing, but I get why people get it. What you got?
So another one from our friend Diodorus from Urban Growler Vanilla Latte Blonde Ale. Going to start with that.
Oh, okay. Those coffee blonde nails again. We're back to those.
Well, I was gifted this, so I'm definitely going to drink it.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I haven't seen a bunch of those in a while.
They were a thing for a while, and then they went away. Yeah.
Right. See, you feel me.
Yeah. So I don't get I get a little bit of coffee in the nose, not much vanilla. Oh, that is delightful. Yeah, that tastes almost exactly like a latte. That is really superb.
Really?
Yeah, it does. It's like, I mean, it's got the beer flavor at the end, of course, but I mean, like, if you're going to put something in and say it tastes like this, if you said, give me a coffee like a vanilla latte with beer, that's exactly what it tastes like. And it's really, really good.
Well, damn, I'm going to bring a beer coffee person on right now. Without further ado, let's just bring on Joel.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Joel?
How are things?
Good. Have you ever had this particular one, Joel?
I haven't. It sounds delightful.
Oh, it is.
Joel, are you into those coffee blonde thingies that Doug and I were seeing a bunch before, but not so much now?
I am. I'm a big fan. I've had only a handful, probably, but every single one of them I've liked to varying degrees.
And what's in your glass?
I'm starting off with a pale from Hubbard's Cave.
Okay.
Nothing too fancy, but there is a coffee featured one next on the list.
Yeah, because you're a big coffee guy, aren't you?
I am. I love coffee.
So that means you like coffee beers.
Coffee beers, coffee,
ice cream.
Ice cream. I mean, whatever. You can put liquor in it. That's great.
Oh, man.
Old Irish coffee.
Doug?
Yeah, I think just targeting back to what you were saying, Greg, is I think pretty much last year, I remember seeing just a boatload of different beers that were putting, like lighter beers, putting coffee in them, coffee IPAs, coffee blondes. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of them and then just nothing. Like they just went away like a fart in the wind.
That's pretty quick.
What were we going to say, Joel?
I said that's pretty quick.
Well, here's something. Yeah, and here's something we could actually speak on, which is, a little thing called the pandemic happened since probably the time that we're talking about, and now. So that being said, this has popped in my head. This should be a great subject, especially for Joel, who knows a lot about breweries. He is well-traveled, if not, I'm probably more well-traveled than Joel, but Joel is well-traveled, especially beer-wise. He's very, he knows about a lot of breweries because he does his breweryfinder.org.
Correct.
Yes. So
So now pronounce his last name.
Joel, what kind of effect do you think that what kind of effect do you think the pandemic had on maybe styles, or or the styles that brewers brew, or do you feel anything on that? It just popped in my head, so it's something I don't know.
I hadn't thought of the effect on styles specifically. I do know with all the opening, closing tap rooms and changing laws, regulations about carry out and what can be served and can't be served, I'm sure that took a hit on a lot of the beers that are a lot faster tracked when you make them versus a barrel age that'll just sit there, for forever.
Yeah.
So a lot of those quicker, fresher beers, especially the lighter ones with coffee and such, it makes sense that you'd want to get that stuff out and sell it fast. And if for the foreseeable future, people are not going to have a steady open tap room all the time because somebody tests positive and they have to close, or they can only do carry out. Yeah, maybe they're going to go towards the styles. They're going to last a little longer. I don't know. I don't brew myself, but I do frequent a lot of breweries.
Any comment, Doug?
I think he's dead on, because it's like one of those things where, like, what can you make that's going to keep? Or, now that we're a little farther along and we understand a little bit more about how this stuff works, is, curbside and, touchless pickup and all that jazz. Maybe they're a little bit less concerned with that because they know they can still put out your IPAs, your stuff that needs to be had really fresh, because they know people will get it. Whereas at the beginning, nobody knew how this was going to play. So, I think you're right. I think just people were a little bit hesitant to kind of keep brewing because they were just afraid of what might be sticking on their shelves and go bad.
Yep, and you also have, I'm just thinking out loud here because, again, this has popped in my head. You also have the time that the pandemic actually hit, which is spring and summer. So those are already determining factors about, what a brewer is brewing. So many times maybe they stayed on track, or I don't know. We have, Ellisholm has fuck COVID beers, so those obviously came up. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting.
I love the whole touchless beer pickup, though. This one I got from Hubbard's Cave just yesterday. They brewed it on the 12th, so less than 2 weeks old. It's pretty good, and it was really easy. I ordered online. It's actually, so my family went to Niles, Illinois. They have a half-size replica of the Leaning Tower of Pisa in the middle of Chicagoland. Why not? I don't know the whole history about it, but it's been there since the 30s. So we went and had a family picnic, and Hubbard's Cave, Unane, same location, two different names, was like a 10-minute walk or something from there. So I ordered on my phone during the picnic. We were done with the picnic, went over there, picked it up. It was super easy. I walked up, scanned my phone, brought me my bag, and that was it. It was super simple. I honestly hope a lot of these easy pickup and easy order, especially even some of the direct-to-consumer brewery deliveries that have been happening, I hope that sticks around post-COVID, because honestly, that's been an awesome way to be able to get and experience new beers and still be able to have kids and not have to drag them to the brewery or worry about germs and all that stuff, because kids lick everything and that's gross. So.
And I don't know where we all live. I think unless things, I don't know. We can only speak for ourselves because location is really key here.
Right.
But I'll speak for Wisconsin. Unless things really, really get better here a lot, breweries are going to have to do a jolt, especially into the fall and the winter, where we're not able to spill out to the patios.
Right.
Some breweries have the patios out. Some breweries are still not open. And what I mean by open, I mean allowing people to come in. They're doing sales and no contactless sales, like you say, or contactless sales. Sorry, no contactless sales. And so a lot of them are doing that, and they're going to have to, because they're not going to be able to put those people in the tap rooms on Friday and Thursday night like normal. So I don't see it going away anytime soon. And also, it's a system. You know what I mean, Joe? I understand why they didn't do it before. But now that they've implemented the system, you know what I mean? Because part of the whole you know what I mean, being less accessible is, do you have those, organizational structure? Do you have the money? Do you have the manpower to do all this stuff? So COVID made them do it. So then it'll be interesting to see, like you said, it's not a given, but it'll be interesting to see what they do after.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested to see how the future goes on this. And it's been interesting too, at least from the tech perspective on my part, to see a lot of the companies that have come up that have had these apps specifically for breweries to be able to do this, or a lot of the online payment gateways that have made it easy to order gift cards and stuff for breweries that they just didn't have that stuff implemented before. And now it's super easy for them to get it started. So to your point, absolutely.
I'm wondering if they're going to do something like, if there's going to be spots that figure out, hey, all right, we're going to do a brick and mortar thing, but what we're going to do is it's just going to be like a takeout window. Like Ben Mullen commented about, like the windows you see in Italy where you just go up and you like order a glass of wine and on your way. Like, I'm not sure it's going to be like that, but like maybe somebody figures out like a way to have this. All right, there's this tiny, shitty little space. If you go, all right, that's tiny, but guess what? I can just have a window and just have, what do you want? You go pick it up and then just, and it might be less money to have that sort of presence. You'd still have a presence. I don't know. I'm personally more a fan of going into the brewery if I can, because I want to be able to talk to people, but I get the idea of how this could venture into something completely different.
Yeah, it's like diversification, right? Being able to have a business and have different ways of making money. Pipeworks, as an example, in Chicago a few years ago, I don't know where they're at now, but I know they're still making awesome beer. But they had a production space, and they did not have any kind of tap room or anything. And this is like 4 or 5 years ago. They came up with just a corner of their warehouse, basically, where you walk in the door and you could pick up whatever that they had. It was just like a little store with their stuff. You couldn't drink it on premises because of licensing, but you could walk in, pick it up, talk to somebody who's working there. Some of the brewers sometimes would hang out, and then you could leave. And I know that was very profitable for them, like you said, because it didn't add a lot of overhead and they already had the space. So it's definitely picking up.
Anybody been to Italy?
I have not. It's on my list. I'm jealous because my wife has been there, but I haven't been there.
Great. What they were doing reminds what Joel was describing. Reminds me a bit of Wirebacker, where you go in and you're like right in the middle of the production space. Like, it's really weird. Now you could drink there, but like you walk right in and there's like freaking forklifts driving past you. It's like shit, what's going on? But they didn't make they didn't have like an actual like tap room really. It was just literally like plopped right in front of all their production space.
That's funny.
Yeah, everybody knows Ben, but Ben talks about how the one that comes to mind for me is Little Caesars on this one. You go in and they have like a box there, and you can do it all. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can walk in and out. I think let's expand outside of breweries. This is a really good post-COVID move, and I think hopefully we see a lot of the. Remember when we grew up, there was a lot of these places that we walked up to, whether it be hot dog stands. They were just like a little, it was a window. You walk up and you would get, you get your food. People would stand around and wait. I'm down for going back to that. What do you guys say? I'm down for that.
That's exactly my thought when I was thinking of that. Is like, what if it's something like this little tiny hot dog place? Like exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think that would be awesome.
Right. And it avoids the whole going in. And like Joel said, if you can just have an app, and you can tell me what time I need to pick up, and then in that app you can tell me when my shit's ready, and I can just show up to your window when it's ready. I mean, come on, let's go. Man, that's so Victor's there. He says, hey
Victor.
So JHG put drive-through booze. Do you remember when we were young, Doug, that Pennsylvania used to have these?
Yeah. Now, my to be fair, my parents are not big drinkers, so it wasn't something like my parents did that. No. I was aware of it. Like I knew other kids were like, yeah, my dad just went to the drive-thru to get beer, and I was like McDonald's kind of style. What yeah.
Believe me, I didn't know because my mother, she was not a drinker at all anyway. cup a pina colada, one or two like a year was her thing. But no. I remember as a kid being like, just like, wow, that's cool. And even growing up as a teenager, there, the liquor stores, you would just drive in and you would just tell the guy what you want, and they would put it in your trunk, and you would just drive out. I mean, and you didn't have to go get liquor till they had, it was more like they had sodas and some of them had like chips and stuff for like parties. But yeah, look at this.
There you go. I know in NOLA there's a bunch of stuff still down in New Orleans as far as drive through.
Friggin' New Orleans. You can.
I'm just saying it's possible. I've seen it
around with you on the street. That's a whole different.
I've seen it in Florida too, but again, that's Florida. So I mean,
does anything surprise you in Florida?
Not really.
So this is in Phoenixville.
Yeah, I've lived near there.
Yeah. So are you on to your second though?
I can be because I'm almost finished with my blonde ale. This next one.
Hurry.
Big. Central Waters, call me old fashioned.
How do you get Central Waters?
I don't know. I told you I
showed up
into that one at this place near me, and I was like, if it has Central Waters on the label, I'm picking it up. I don't give a shit what it is. So,
you literally get more Central Waters than me. I love it.
How is that possible?
Well, we already had this discussion a gazillion times. I'm only doing curbside, so I'm not venturing in. So if I would venture in, Central Waters is always on the top of my list. So when I venture back into the liquor store, Central Waters, whatever's there, whatever's regional, whatever's fresh.
Yeah, I need to get a bottle opener. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back.
Oh,
he's unprepared.
Yeah, he gets removed from the stream.
That's what he gets. So I'll go with my next one. This is a coffee related one. Also from Hubbard's Cave, an iced mocha. I've never had this before.
Ooh.
It caught my eye. It in the text here too, where it says normally would say Imperial Stout. It's got Imperial crossed out. So it's just a stout with chocolate, coffee, lactose, and vanilla. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There, Doug.
Hubbard's Cave, man. So that's right. You said that's right near where the replica of Leaning Tower of Pisa is.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them before.
Niles, Illinois. Hubbard's Cave is, I don't know exactly how it breaks down. They're a smaller entity that operates inside of Unane, which is more known for sours and some really fancy barrel-aged stuff.
Unane is fucking awesome.
Yeah, they do amazing stuff.
Period.
That's dark. Look at that.
That's pouring like motor oil. That's awesome.
Oh man, that is beautiful.
Look at that, like the nice dark head on it too.
Right?
Glug, glug, glug.
The coffee and the chocolate are intense on the aroma here. Wow, I love it.
I agree with Victor.
Yeah, Victor, you're right, dude. I said it was an amateur move. I'm like, in a week, which is why I'm drinking 2 beers that are very high gravity tonight. So yes,
Nice.
That's why Doug's also resistant to a week off. I was like, Doug, let's take a week off. We haven't had one since I got sick at the end of last year.
Oh, geez.
And
We
then
have
I
done a
had a
show
week where I couldn't be there, and I can't
every
remember.
week. And I'm not counting traveling or anything. We missed we didn't do one. The last week we actually didn't do a show was when we were at that too. But before that, it was because I was sick. So Doug doesn't even want to take a damn day off. Joel, what's going on in that glass?
Oh my God! It actually tastes like a slightly boozy Starbucks mocha. I'm a fan. The coffee has a little bit of that acidic, a little of the acidic flavor that is known for Starbucks. Very smooth. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm a big. If you don't like coffee, you fucking hate it. But if you like coffee, this is a fantastic stout. Bottle opener. Yes.
I'm I feel very ashamed.
You should be.
I should be.
That's a strike.
All right. So this is interesting. This is a malt beverage with cherries aged in used spirit barrels with natural flavors and caramel color. 12% ABV. So malt beverages.
It's
a nice color.
Here you go.
Whew, that smells like an old fashioned, that's for sure. Almost smells like a barley wine. Cherry's just very light on that.
It's probably going to be a little tart, probably.
Yeah. It is. It tastes a lot like a barley wine with cherries in it.
Is that a good thing?
It's
I
not
think so.
bad. It's not something I'd have more than one of. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It's probably every beer ever for me, but yeah.
Does it have the authentic kind of cherry flavor, or does it have that imitation?
It has like
drop cherry.
It has like that maraschino.
Oh, okay.
Like that, and it is a slight bit medicinal.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see what the date was on this. If there was one. Sometimes I put it on, but I don't see one on that. That is a rare miss by Central Waters for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, and I've become enough of a beer snob too that I immediately wonder how that bottle was stored, how it was transported, what kind of temperatures and light it was exposed to affect the flavor. You know what I mean? Like, is it really a miss, or was it more the distributor that fucked it up than it was the brewery?
Okay, so maybe this makes a little more sense when I read the side. I missed this part. It's an Imperial Red Ale.
Oh, very different. Okay.
Brewed with cherries, touch of bitters, then aged in brandy, bourbon, and orange curacao barrels.
Huh.
It smells like an old fashioned. It doesn't taste like it. But that makes a bit more sense. It's Imperial Red. And with the bitters and all the other things going on, that how I get the medicinal taste of it. Like, it's not like pound you over the head medicinal taste, but it definitely has a hint of that.
Makes sense.
GHG says you're going high ABV once again, Doug. He's seen a bunch of our streams. He knows.
Hey, have you not watched the show ever?
No, he knows. Oh no, he's just pointing it out. Right. Yeah, that's Doug's thing for sure. So meanwhile, while you guys are pouring your beers, I poured this black H2O oatmeal stout. Pouring more. I mean, it looks black here probably, but I don't know how that light's gonna show. But it pours ruby, if you can see that.
Oh,
almost
interesting.
Almost like a root beer type of. When I was pouring it, I was like, "Oh, this looks like root beer." It drinks like you want an oatmeal stout with some body, with a lot of roast, a little bit of chocolate, but that body is what you're really looking for, and the roast, and it's a wonderful stout, and 6.8%. So that's a little bit of a heft. Not too much, but a little bit.
Oatmeal stout, that's kind of in range, right?
Yeah.
Doug, you're getting chastised.
Victor's very disappointed in you.
Yeah, have we had Victor on a Friday show?
You should if you haven't. I've been trying to get him on my Friends Beer Coffee podcast for a little while. I mean, to be fair, he's had some stuff going on. He's been busy.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Listen. Victor is busy, yes, but Victor always has time to jump on our video game stream and run his mouth.
He does.
So, I'm a little personally offended there, Victor. I'm gonna have to hit you up later this week.
Man, Victor in video games, man, that's like you can't. I don't think you can hold a guy back.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you though, Victor freaking hooked me up with some Halo memorabilia and stuff. So
Nice.
that little Halo thing back there. He sent me that, and then he sent me a letter of authenticity for it. So now I have to get
separately.
Yeah, well, no, that thing is actually an exclusive that he got when he worked at GameStop. That was actually
okay.
one of the original cells for the game.
Gotcha.
So, like, I think that's right, Victor. Maybe I'm not spouting that right, but he sent me that, and so now I'm like, I got to get that framed and get that shit on the back because that's pretty awesome.
Sweet. Very cool.
He's in, Joe. Looks like.
Yeah. We got to schedule it. I mean, I'm super flexible. I mean, the kids are starting school this week, but after 3, I'm open.
Are they doing all virtual?
Thank God, yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's over now.
No, I'm zipping my lips and throwing the key over there.
I just want Ben is loving our beer selection. I just want to say that. But anyway, go back. No, seriously, go back to wood. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, and side note, Ben and I have been talking about starting a podcast too, but I won't say any more than that, just in case it doesn't happen. Because that's been almost 2 years we've been talking about this idea, and it hasn't happened yet. But
that shit sounds fun.
Yeah, we'll get that going.
Yeah,
we're talking about school.
Back to virtual school.
So we're in Cook County, Illinois, which has fairly terrible COVID numbers, mostly because people don't wear their fucking masks. And because of that, if the local school district was going to be in person, we were prepared to pull our kid out of school and do homeschool for the year. Both my wife and I, when we were younger, separately, our families did homeschool. So we're well aware of all the things that go into that. And we've both done a lot of travel, so we know what it's like to go to museums all over the world. So we were ready to do that. But for now, at least for the first trimester, the school's going to be virtual. So it'll be like, let's hang out with the kids at home, and it's all scheduled, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we weren't ready to send our kid, mostly because, like, not to get too personal, but my son has some breathing issues on his own as far as asthma and whatnot. And even if he wasn't able to go to school, if he got a cough or something, like, we get tested on a regular basis, but it could just be his regular breathing issues and they wouldn't know. And then he'd have to be home anyways. So in order to save him from being in school and going out of school and all that stuff. Anyways, long answer. Yes, he's home and we're happy about it for now.
Thank you, JG.
It's true.
We're all in agreement there.
Science. Yeah. It's good.
So, Joel, this is the time of our show.
Well, what?
Time for our sponsor.
Okay, one of the things that we've done in the past, I know we've talked about how I do lots and lots of things. The most recent thing that I was able to decide to start on, and we're starting it under the Penultimate Brews LLC that Jeremy Highland and I have, and you guys know that. Under Penultimate Brews, we're working on, Brewery Finder. We've got breweries now worldwide. We've got 25,000 locations, and I was kind of not bored with that, but interested in other things. Greg, you're drinking a seltzer. My wife likes ciders. I'm a big fan of bourbon, and so I was able to get a domain called Drink Here. It's DRINKHE.RE. So Drink Here, and it's a text-based only worldwide directory of basically drink producers. So seltzeries, breweries, distilleries. The dot's in the wrong place. It's HE.RE. It's like one of those fancy URLs that I thought was pretty cool. But anyways, it's going to be launched probably in the next month or so, mostly because I'm interested in what's out there. And yes, perfect. DRINKHE.RE. Drink Here. I mean, straightforward and fun, right? You click through where you're going to go and find it. It's not launched yet, but I've got some teasers out there about it. That's the big thing. And then 2 days ago, I finally bought some software where I'm finally putting together my online classes that I've been talking about, where I will be teaching people how to do some of the things that I do, because I get people all the time that are like, hey, I want to start a blog, or hey, can I build this directory, or hey, I want to start an online family photo album, and I don't like what Amazon offers. What can you do for me? So I've got several different classes I'll be posting on my joel.gratcyk.com site, hopefully in the next month or so, teaching people to do what I do, because I think it's fun to teach people how to do new things.
And you're damn good at it.
Thank you very much. The trick is finding people that want to pay me to do those things. But
that's a pretty tricky proposition. Yeah,
it is. So I thought, well, whatever. I'll start some classes and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Yay!
Cheers.
Thanks for letting me talk about it.
Cheers.
I'm excited about it. It's one of those things like with Brewery Finder and all that. I fucking hate ads. I think they're invasive and obnoxious, and I'm going to try and figure out how to do this without placing ads or sponsorships all over everything. We just see too many of that in our modern day, and I wanted something simple, and I didn't want to have to worry about APIs and map code and all that stuff. So this one's going to be easy to get around.
That was funny, man, because I don't know, somehow this thing came on my radar. I don't know, maybe you follow one of my profiles, or maybe I saw it from something, and I was like, maybe I need to tell Joel about this. So then, I don't know, man, like, you ever get those things in your head, and then you're like, I should call Doug and tell him this, and then you just don't, and then like 7 days go by, and you're like, fuck, I should have told Doug that shit like last week. And then by that time, I think you had sent me a follow this page, and I was like, oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
The way that you announced it was so mysterious that I didn't even know what the hell was going on. But
that was the point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was really interested in what the fuck was going on. But I didn't know. So you did a really good job, is what I'm saying. I didn't even know that you were behind that shit. But I was really interested. And then I found out it was you, and I'm like, I kind of settled down a little bit, because I'm like, man, okay, cool. I'll find out, about this through Joe. I wasn't going to have to dig in and solve the big mystery, because it seemed like I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And it was great because it created a mystery, what the hell is this thing? So
that's
cool.
the idea. That's the idea. So yeah, cheers. Thank you. So the first one is, I know that to your point, Doug, that I'm doing a nice job online, because especially we recently launched penultimatebrews.com. So our company actually has an official website now, which we didn't for a long time, because I don't know why, we didn't. And it looks nice enough that we've had several people, not just bots and the spam stuff, but individual people that have sent us interest in wanting to be employed at a new brewery. And it's like, well, okay, we're not a new brewery. I'm not, I don't have money to hire people right now, but I'm glad that I look professional enough that you think that. That's flattering in a way, Sure. And then the other thing, I do like adding mystery to things. People, you guys probably know, and then others that might be watching know, I'm involved with a ska band called Five Iron Frenzy. They were big in the 90s and early 2000s. They quit. We did a Kickstarter 10 years ago. And they came back and did an album and lots of touring and stuff. And so I've been teasing a lot of their social profiles and stuff recently, because they've got some news to share as of September 1st. That some fun things are going to start happening. So I've been dropping random GIFs and things online, and people are like, oh my God, what's happening? Well, you have to wait. September 1st, you'll find out what's going on. So I'm hoping that goes fairly well, but so far, so good.
So you're like the Lost of ska bands.
Basically.
Remember Lost, when they would do those things where they would put up, I don't know if you guys were in that phenomenon as much as I was, but they would do these, you'd hear this thing about some certain website, and you go to this website and it'd be about the airline that's not a real airline, and give you little Easter eggs, and that's you.
It was. I mean, we did that. I had some inspiration, and you can still blame on J.J. Abrams, who was involved in that.
Yeah.
Lots. Especially back when Star Trek relaunched in 2009. They did a lot of those things before it was official. And then for the second movie, they were very cryptic about the storyline. I won't comment on, I have lots of feelings about that movie, but they had like random domain names that they would throw up, and you could find out about the Federation and the starships and this and that. And I was one of those guys that was like trying to track it down and like figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do that to some like random ska band fans that think it's funny, but it worked out last time. I mean, we went past $200,000 for the Kickstarter, so we'll see what happens with this new project.
That's pretty fabulous. And the thing is, like, studio time is not cheap, so I imagine I imagine that $200,000 sounds like a lot, but when you're doing studio time, it really isn't. Especially
when you're talking about a band made of 8 people that are independent. 5 live in the Denver area, and then the others live like East Coast, West Coast, and they're not signed to a record label because they all are adults and have regular lives and jobs and responsibilities. It takes a lot of money to make anything happen.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Mr.
Hey, Jason. What's
Also,
up, man?
You know that photo is a photo of him in a pool, in his in-laws pool, naked, because he was talking about doing that all summer, swimming naked in his in-laws pool.
Good for him. Were they home?
No, they were away. He was.
That's not nearly as,
Were they home?
I mean,
I hope they have, like,
if you're gonna be dangerous, they'd have to be home. If they're not home, it's not really that dangerous. I'm sorry, Jason, but you can do better. You can do better.
But what if they had like home security cameras?
He would know. That's when you wear the Nixon mask.
They'd be like, I wonder what's going on at home. Ah!
All right, so are you guys? It's video time.
Okay, this is fairly new. I've seen it, I think, once or twice, where you show some random video and then people have to react to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
trust me, you'll get it when you watch it.
I won't be drinking while I watch it. I don't want to do.
It's America at its finest, but no. I want to make sure that it's a 2-minute video. So do you guys have enough to drink before I?
Yeah, I'm good.
12% malt beverage, so I think I'm okay.
I'll get the next one after the video, so we're good.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. Let's cue this bad bitch up, I think. Here we go. All right. Or no. Okay, so we go here. We go here. We click on that.
Doug's ready. We're ready.
That. And then we click on that. And then we click on that.
That's a lot of clicks.
You get to see our faces while you watch this. Uh-oh.
Oh my God. You laughing now? Keep fucking laughing, bro. You wanna know why? You wanna know fucking why? Oh my God, keep fucking laughing. Because you laugh it. You fucking laugh. You laugh thinking that we're rich white kids. And that's your problem. And that's your problem. Oh my God, fucking no. That's your motherfucking problem. That no, fuck you. Oh, I get you pissed out. I get you fucking pissed out. That's your fucking shit. I get you fucking pissed out. Oh, I take the shit out, bro. I take the shit out, bro. I take the fucking shit out.
Someone commented that's my prom date. I mean, sorry, whoever had her as a prom date. That's horrible.
You ignorant white fuck. You little millennials sitting here videotaping my ass. Oh my God. You're so, you little millennials.
Oh my God, Becky. Look at her butt.
You fucking millennials is the best thing. Bitches get the fucking joint, dude.
All right. How drunk is that woman? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
she should not be driving.
The fact that Spidey.
Oh my God.
Oh, ain't no possible permission. You have everybody interested. You have everyone twisted on everything that you have to spare out. So good for you. So good for you.
So true.
She just
That was my
They
prom
just-
date.
that's where I laughed. Someone had this gal as her prom as their prom date. Oh my god. Well, I kind of want to know how drunk she was, and she really shouldn't have been driving. Obviously,
No.
there's no way she should have been in a car, because you could see from that video she was out, the car was not moving, and the driver's side door was open.
Right.
She should be sleeping it off somewhere, not in front of a car. There's
also this thing called Uber or Lyft that you can
Right?
use. You don't have to fucking drive.
Unless you're in California, apparently they
Apparently
both
there's
pulled out.
something weird.
That's I mean, I don't know how recent
I
that
don't
is. Yeah, geez.
Stop. Karen time.
America, right? America. It's no wonder people make fun of us. God.
They spiked the punch at prom.
It's still better than that freaking lady swearing that Jesus Christ is ordaining her to go down the supermarket aisle. That was pretty funny, but
Man, I don't know if you guys. I have 2 Twitter accounts, Daddy Porter blog. Follow that one. Don't follow Greg A. Washington. It's a fucking mess.
dude,
It's
you
just
have
a
been
whole
going
bunch
to town with the Karen videos on that other one.
Right, but I was gonna say, right. So this is where actually the lady and I started going through Karen videos. It's one of the things that we do at the end of the night that, like, I don't know, we just laugh. So then I end up posting a whole bunch of them on my Twitter. And Doug, I never post the ones that I'm going to try to save for the show because I don't want you to see that shit. But but I don't know. It's always fun to go through. And it also scares me to remain at home mostly. So it's a good motivation to stay home. I don't want to run into any of these Karens drive through and the liquor store without their mask. I mean, you see them all. If you go on my profile, Greg A. Washington, I post like 15 of them a day when I look at them real quick. And, like going to Costco without your mask. Joel or Doug, have you seen any of this mess?
Oh my God.
Have you seen any of this fucking mess?
You apparently didn't see my Facebook and Twitter a couple weeks ago. I was at Meijer, and nothing against Meijer. I mean, they're one of those like superstore places as far as like they've got general merch and they've got they've got all kinds of stuff, but they have a whole grocery section. Yeah, exactly.
You get a lot of shit in one place.
I get a lot of my groceries from there, mostly because they're open late and they're decently priced. The customer service is always but I know my way around the store, and so I can get stuff. I went shopping, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's on my Twitter. I could find the exact timeline, but I fucking ran into a Karen for sure. Normally I keep my mouth shut. Like, I've got my mask. I normally actually, when I go shopping, especially at places like that, I've got a mask on. It's typically in the daytime when I've gone before, so I've worn my sunglasses and a hat. So I've got a hat, sunglasses, and a mask on. It's not like I'm trying to attract attention. Like, I want to just stay the fuck away from people.
Oh, you're Unabombering it.
Oh my God. Well, it's true, but normally people stay away from me, so fine, whatever. Like, I'm cool with
that works.
This lady was not having it because I was going down the baking aisle one way and she was going down the baking aisle the other way. And I would not have said anything. I'm covered, and she decides to like follow me as I walk down the aisle. Like, her eyes just like, and her head, her whole demeanor was just like, I'm watching you. Like, I don't know what she thought I was gonna do. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe you're part of the deep state pedophile ring.
Well, we're not going to go there. Anyone that believes in QAnon or any of that fucking shit has never been a project manager. You cannot get more than 3 or 4 or maybe 5 people to do whatever the fuck you want them to do without saying something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother side issue, but conspiracy theories 9 times out of 10, don't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyways, this lady, her eyes were looking directly at mine, and she didn't know, but I was looking at her, and my head started following her, and she's got her mask down under her nose like this, right? All I do is I tap my nose and say it works best when you cover this too. This lady, I mean, I'm sure she's definitely bigger than me. She's taller than me. She had bigger muscles than me. If she wanted to punch me, she probably could have. I kept walking. That's all I said. And she turned around and went on this Karen bit shut up, you fucking little cunt. You just mind your own goddamn business, blah, blah, blah. Screaming at the top of her lungs. I had tried to assault her. And all I did was go, it works best when you cover this too. And she was fucking angry at me. I walked out. I went down the next aisle, whatever. The best part was in the deli section. I was waiting too. I was like Hawkeye looking for her. I was like, I'm gonna point at the nose again if I fucking see her, right? So we're in the deli section. She's on one end, I'm on the other. She's got her mask on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt good. Whatever. I'm not gonna cause a scene, but I'm gonna point it out. If you look at me, there are a lot of other people that they don't do it. Whatever. You mind your own business. I'm gonna stay out of your way. But if you're gonna walk right past me and just look at me like this, I'm gonna say something nice, and then she's gonna get mad, and that's what happened. That's my Karen story.
My where I am, it's Greg. I know you're gender equivalent about the Karen name, but the people that I see just not adhering are just dudes. I've seen people just wander into the store with no mask at all. Always with some sort of America emblem on them. All right, great. I get it. It's America, freedom, yada, yada. But listen, dude, we're all in this together. Put a mask on for 5 minutes, do your shit and get home. And then you can bitch.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy.
So, yeah. Hey, I got a special beer that I'm opening just because you're on the show.
Yes, I want to see this.
So this is a 13-month-old coffee dinosaurs from All Color.
Right.
One of my favorite beers, hands
down. I've seen you drink a boatload of these because you keep posting them when you drink them. So
you don't follow Joel and not know about this beer.
Yeah. So this was one I found, and I thought I'm going to age this, and I'd forgotten that I'd had it, and I was like, I had some good news today, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to have a cellar beer. I have a lot of them. Yeah, so I decided, I saw this, I was like, holy shit, I have one of these, and Joel's going to be on the show. How can I not have this? So
it's destiny.
It is destiny.
Give me some, man.
Look at that. That pours super nice, baby.
I that's, the 2019 is nice. I only had it fresh, though. I have not had any Dinosaurs this year. I was lamenting the fact that I had not had any this year, and Doug was like, "Oh, this poor Joel."
So it actually smells really boozy on the nose. Coffee notes.
To be expected.
Yeah, but really boozy on the nose. It's 10.5 when you get it.
Okay.
So, no idea what it is now. Okay, you know what is amazing about this? This is a year old. And all the s'more flavors are there except the graham cracker. The graham cracker's not there, but you get the chocolate and the marshmallow and the coffee. Just the only thing that's not there is the graham cracker. Otherwise, it's as if I'm drinking it fresh but boozier. If that makes sense.
Joel, is the graham cracker prominent fresh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, in this case, it is not. But that's okay. I mean, I'm surprised the marshmallow flavor retained as long as it did. I was expecting the chocolate and the coffee to stay because they're very prominent flavors. Marshmallow generally isn't when it's in any sort of beer, but this really good.
Nice.
I wish I would have saved a couple because I would have sent you one, Joel.
Oh, I mean, I
meant like a cellared one.
Okay, yeah. No, that would be appreciated for sure. I'm definitely like you, where I'm not very good at cellaring things.
I get about a year, and that's about like I have 3 things in my cellar right now that are over a year old, but almost everything else is not because it's a year. Great, let's pull it out. Let's go.
Yep. I have a question for you guys. Do you wait in line for beer? And do you have any limits on or rules on whether you wait in line for beer? Whether you're talking about a festival or just going to a brewery and talking about service or any of that sort of thing. I know I've been in the past to festivals and beer releases where I've waited quite a long time, but I haven't waited in a beer line for more than maybe 15 minutes, probably for the last 3-4 years. If it takes longer than that, I'm out and somewhere else.
Greg?
We're talking post-COVID, right?
I guess I was thinking pre-COVID, I suppose. Post-COVID, I've only done pictures, so I can't tell you. But pre-COVID,
Yeah, I'm not going to wait if I don't know if I'm getting beer. How about that? So if I've already paid, there's the one where you're already paid and then you have to wait the line to get in. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about you have to wait in line and you're not sure that you're going to get beer or not?
Either. I was just curious. The last time I waited in line for beer, I went to Dark Lord in like 2015, I think. And it was rainy. It was the only time I'd been there. My buddy was like, it's awesome, let's go. And it was fucking horrible until we got the beer. And then we got the base. And between the group of us, the next week, we had Dark Lord, and then we had 3 of the 4 variants. So that was a beautiful night. But I have not waited in line for beer since then. Did you know
that you were getting beer when you showed up there?
I knew I would at least get the base beer, yes. And then my wife, and someone else got the scratch off that let us get the variant, but we didn't know that for sure.
Right. The answer to your question is I need to know I'm getting beer.
Okay.
I mean, I've already had to pay for it, or I know that there's enough there. I'm not going to wait if I don't know I'm going to get beer. That's my limit there.
Makes sense.
So what you got, Doug?
I think the last time I did that was 2017. And I did it because there was a place that had both Bourbon County Stout and KKKBS now.
Yeah.
And they had them both. But they had limited supplies.
One of the best nicknames ever, by the way. Go on.
Yeah. So I went and I got in line, and I was like, I wasn't assured of anything, but I wanted it because at that time, Bourbon County Stout was not easy to come by. Neither was KBS.
Okay.
And
pre-expansion.
At that point never had KBS. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to get that. I can get Bourbon County Stout usually somewhere, but I'm going to see what I can get. So I got, and 2 people ahead of me, they ran out of KBS.
Oh,
so I got one of the Bourbon Counties, which Bourbon County, I know it's mass produced. I know it's InBev or whatever the fuck they are. Every year I get one of them. I just do because I like them. And usually I will try to get 2 and cellar one, but what is that? It's a hazy something, Greg.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any argument from Joel about Bourbon County beer. Bourbon County.
No.
Right, Joel? Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I mean, one of the things, and I know people have complicated relationships with AB InBev, but when they took over Goose, number one, the BCS quality, I think, stayed there, other than the 1 year they had, some issues. But number one, it's easier to find. The quality is still good. And they have, like, this year, they've got, like, 7 fucking variants? They never would have been able to do that before.
Yeah, but the only thing I will say that I'm a little irritated by is they have all these variants, and each variant for a 12-ounce bottle is $25.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I never buy the variants at all. And that's one of the reasons I like FOBAB, the annual Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers, because I'll volunteer, I'll attend the fest and try all the variants and the base and, like, never have to pay for it. Because I work my ass off.
Yeah. And if it was something where it was like $15 or $16 for a variant versus the original, that I could see getting one of the variants maybe.
Sure.
But all of them were $25. I saw some of them for $32 for a 12-ounce bottle. Like,
yeah.
I'm not spending that much for a 12-ounce bottle of beer. I'm just not.
That's true. And I got, not to name any names, but I got in a fight with some people in the craft industry here in Chicago recently because one of the breweries that I really like came out with like a $35 beer, a barrel-aged beer that I was thinking that was awesome, but like, there's no fucking way I'm going to spend $35 for a barrel-aged beer. That's not in my budget. That's not for me. It is a privilege for people to be able to buy that beer, and craft beer is in many ways a privileged industry to be involved in and to take part in and to be a consumer in. And I know there's a lot of conversations about that, but it is what it is. It's like anything else. If you can afford it, you can get some really nice shit. And if not, then there's still some good options out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Victor got lucky.
Yeah, he did.
That's cool.
We've heard some horror stories too over the years of just people sitting out in lines and not guaranteed any beer, and then not getting beer, and people cutting lines, and it's just, and then the whole mule thing too is kind of
and that's one of the reasons I like this whole technology thing that's kind of happened during COVID. A lot of places, especially with their fancy beers, because of the spread of germs and whatnot. And I shouldn't have said that because like the germs are real. People have been able to pre-order stuff online, right? That's one of the reasons I liked Off Color even years ago. When they finally made the switch for Dinosaurs from first come first serve to if you can pre-order it online, you're guaranteed to get it. Come pick it up. There was no more of that wait in line for hours and like you won't get anything. I love the idea that, hey, I want this beer. I can afford the beer. I will try and buy as many as they will let me. If it's guaranteed, you just fucking show up during the pickup time and it's no big deal. There's none of that wasted time, hurt feelings, frustration, whatever. And I think it's great. It lets people get those hard to find beers without having to wait in line, and it minimizes all the frustration and trouble that goes into, beer hunting, which some people like to do. But I had my it was probably 6 months that I hunted the whales and found what I wanted to find, and then I was like, this is for the birds. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. So, or you go, Doug.
I was going to ask about the whale thing. So my brother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, is very big into that. He buys beers and he looks at it, how he can sell it on aftermarket. And I'm like, hey, if that's you, great. I have no time for that. I don't want to. If I'm going to buy something that I'm going to drink. And like, I get it. Hey, if it's a thing that you can do and you can make a couple bucks doing it, awesome for you. You said you did that for a bit. It seems very much like, I don't know. To me, it'd be like I'm spending all this time doing something where I'm giving somebody else the benefit of it, even if I'm getting money out of it.
Well, and that was the thing. When I did it, I never dealt with people individually. I would follow beer menus. I would follow Twitter. I would find out where either the brewery would release it or where the distributor would drop it off at a bottle shop. I never dealt with individuals because I have trust issues. And I'm not going to invest my time in someone that I don't know, try to, maybe sell me a bottle that is clearly marked up because it was something that I wanted. I would find out when the drop dates were at the different breweries or the bottle shops, and I would go hunt those things down. It was so much work, and especially after I became a parent, it was just not worth it. Especially now, since I can just order online and go pick it up someplace.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just not worth it.
So yeah, you mentioned. I'm going to go back to contact. I'm going to go back to a little bit what you said. Central Waters. Have you ever had one of the best barrel aged beers in this state? Is Black Gold. Central Waters.
Yes.
Have you had Black Gold?
I have.
Okay, so Black
Thanks
Gold.
to you.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. I didn't want to be like, yeah, I thought it was because of me. But no, I think I think I brought it out somewhere, right? Or to when the bloggers came.
Yeah, and the Madison thing.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Okay, so Black Gold is one of the best, if not the best, barrel aged beer that is dropped in Wisconsin. Period. End. It's a 3-year blend of just beautiful. It's just wonderful. It's fantastic. Joel, you've had it. I love it. So this year they just dropped the news about it, Joel, and it just blew my mind about how they're doing it this year. They are going to you have to get on a lottery, and then you will drive up to Central Waters, and they will put that shit in your trunk, and you will drive away. And I don't know if you've ever. I know you guys have never been to Central Waters releases. First of all, you have to their releases sell out in 1 second. That's less than a second. Black Gold will sell out less than a second. You get on their thing, and if you're in and you're in the queue, you get lucky. If not, oh well. And they don't do proxies. And then you have to show up you get your ticket, you have to show up. It's a nice brewery, but it's in the middle of nowhere. There's usually a line out the door. You have to wait in a long ass line to get the beer that you already purchased.
Wow.
And it's a nice festival. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. You know what I mean? You can have a beer. I see a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean? It's more one, it's a community thing. So you would see all your friends, you know what I mean, from around town, the ones that you see, around the Chicago scene. They're all there. It's a great time. Don't get me wrong. But there's somewhat of a hassle to getting this beer. And if you don't show up to get it at that time, and if it's rainy and snowy, it's always in December, it's always cold. I mean, it's just like, respectfully, it's kind of a hassle to get it, This year, they're allowing proxies. They're they're doing it no contact. So you can buy it, send it with your friend, hand them the slips. They will put it in your trunk, and you can just drive off. And it's just, I can't tell you how fucking amazing just the thought of all that, because Central Waters is an hour and a half-ish north of me. So it's about a 3-hour trip to go up and get beer. And some, Black Gold is worth it for me. There's a couple of their releases that are absolutely worth it. That's one of them. So Sunday at 6 o'clock is the release for Black Gold. So I'm going to be in there cooking. And I might end up taking an hour and a half trip to get some Black Gold if they're just going to put it in my trunk. And it's just amazing. I don't know. They're probably not going to do this more because, again, they want you in their tap room. They want you buying their tap beer while you wait to buy the beer that you already bought.
Well, here's one of the things, and it sounds odd, but a few years ago, let's see, my oldest now is almost 8. And when my wife's really big into baby wearing. If you don't know what baby wearing is, there's a whole subculture, basically, of moms who get these super fancy hand-woven pieces of fabric that you just do this thing with. You tie it all up, whatever, and you can wear your baby on your back, on your front. Like it's really great as a parent. Mm-hmm. If you have a small kid, to wear the kid, especially if it's like nap time and they want to sleep or whatever, and you can use your hands and do stuff. It's not the case right now, but it used to be a few years ago where you would have these releases for particular brand names for these baby wearing things. And like that, I mean, a second, 2 seconds, and they've sold Mad Hatter was one of the examples of a brand name. They would sell these things for like $1,400. and they would just be gone as soon as they got listed. We had more money.
$1?
Yes, dollars. We had more money then. We don't now, of course. I'm just putting that out there. But one of the things I learned with this is if you have a browser and you know what their order system is, there are extensions you can get for your browser that are free where you can either automatically or click one button and have a full order form filled out for you. Name, address, payment, everything. And something like that might come in handy with the beer release if you know what their order system is or what their field names are to pre-populate your browser with that. The moment that form goes live, it automatically fills it out and you just hit a button. You don't always know how much you're spending, but if it's beer, it's obviously a lot less than what insurance would be. We can talk offline technical issues if you want, and I'd be more than happy to help you out with that. That is how I scored one of those wraps. We later sold it, and it was a nice
There's a game to the system when like you click it, it's an hour. Like it's a the release is 6 o'clock and 6:01. What? It's sold out,
right? And that's and people who know that they do those sorts of things to get this stuff. And I don't know what they do with aftermarket. Like I don't do aftermarket beers. I know enough people that I can say, like I know enough people I can go to events and go, oh, hey, yeah, you got it because you know the brewer. You got it because you spent the money. I'm more than happy to help you out with something technical to give me a sip of that beer.
Right. You got it because you're the brewmaster.
Good for you. You know, whatever. Their thing, not mine. I don't care.
What's up, Doug?
No, it's funny. Just like there's not a lot of those kind of releases where I am. I don't have a lot of breweries where I am, to be quite honest. And, you know, you and I have talked a lot about the lack of diversity in how they approach things. But it's also like their releases are not like, here's this giant release we're going to do. They don't do a lot of that where I am. You know, Binghamton, New York is not a giant hub of activity. We have 5 or 6 breweries, maybe. There's more in Ithaca, which is a smaller city, and they have probably 10 to 15 different microbreweries. That's about an hour. Excuse me, that's about an hour from here. That's where I would normally work, except I'm working from home now. But like, it's interesting to see, like, all right, we're going to release this, and this is how we're going to do stuff. And I don't see any of that shit here. There's Greg, you and I have been to the North Brewery. They release stuff, and they don't do it like as an exclusive release. They're like, we're releasing this tomorrow. Here we go. And once in a while, they come out with a stout that's like some sort of, because they're well known for their stouts, but like they'll come out with some oddball stout that they're promoting, and they'll only have a limited amount. But it's not like here's a lottery system no, just here it is. Come first come, first served. And usually there's more left over just because. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not lamenting the idea that I don't have to stay in line. It's just more like I don't have things that are that pressing from breweries here. Things that are like that every year that comes out, I'm getting that shit. I don't have that here. You know.
Mm-hmm. Joel, you got another beer?
I do. Hang on. Let me get my setup back. Sorry, my kids are sleeping, so I'm doing the whole.
You have to do it on the
headphone
on the download, sir.
I did not realize, first of all, when I went to UNNA that when I went and picked up 3 different beers, they were all the Hubbard Cave variety. But this I thought was really interesting.
Ooh, was it
a blackberry French toast
dessert stout?
Yeah, dessert stout. We're talking.
Well,
Imperial stout fermented with blackberry, cinnamon, maple syrup, vanilla, and lactose. It is along the same lines of one of my favorite beers that they have. That's Coffee and Cakes, I believe. Now, this is years ago, 2018, so this is long gone, but I liked the bottle, so I kept it. I think this is the same series. I'm going to open it up now.
So, to my normal point about labels,
Yes.
that's a good label.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of the labels they got going in here.
Yeah, the black and white kind of juxtaposition of it is really outstanding.
It's really nice that the whole series they have is just, it's like that. I guess it's really easy to maintain it too, especially once you've got it set up.
Yeah.
A lot of text, because these things are annual releases or quarter releases, depending on what it is. Look at that. That's even darker than the last one.
Jesus.
You can
Greg, look at that thing.
look at that. Oh my God.
Blug, blug, blug.
Well, this is like my favorite kind of beer, and it always has been. I'm one that is learning to like. I'm still learning to like, lagers and pale ales and whatnot. But man, this dark stuff. The
I want to go to FOAB sometime. FOAB
Festival of Barrel Aged Beers. My absolute favorite festival this year. Obviously, is canceled because of COVID concerns. Apparently, they're still doing the judging somehow, and I've been to that fest the last 6 or 7 years. I'm not sure how they're going to do that logistically, but good for them. I will be missing it this year, but yeah, they have like everything they have is like this. Recently, I think last year and the year before, they started having more aged. They had some sours. They had a whole sour room. They had a few ciders. It was pretty interesting how they've kind of expanded that. And anyways, breakfast beers indeed. Okay, somebody earlier mentioned Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is kind of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch in a.
That's our buddy Manny.
Wow,
so
it's like,
yeah,
the cinnamon is just rolling off the tongue here.
Right.
you're doing like
This is 12%. I had it was 6, and now this is 12. So, I'm gonna probably have the munchies later.
I think, but that's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so that should like fill your munchie quotient.
We'll see. I don't know. I may need something salty later.
Mm-hmm. JHG says simple design is beautiful.
Yeah,
and hard to do.
it's true. It very, very much is.
As a graphic designer, what's the difference between a graphic designer and graphic artist?
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. I did not go to school for it, so I can't.
He's one of them.
Awesome.
One of them.
I had someone point out to me a couple years ago, and I never thought of it that way, that the designs that I've done have almost always been the flat sort as far as the black and white or like very contrasting colors. And they had talked to me about the reason they think that is because I'm blind in one eye, right? I can't see 3D like everybody else can. And that's just kind of how I've gone. Luckily for me, in the last couple of years, graphic design has gone that direction, so it's worked out well for me. But I always thought that was interesting that like I've done that and then it kind of ended up that way. But there's nothing I did other than that's just how I see. In the 90s when they had those fancy photos that you had to like stare at, and as you backed away, you could see like some 3D image. I only know of that conceptually. It never worked for me because I just can't do that. Yeah.
I'm that new with hearing.
Right.
Because I can hear. All right. So I can't. So like when I'm doing this, I have my laptop volume at the max because I can't hear well at all. I have 25% hearing in my left ear and about 50% in my right. So it's interesting like to see how. So you have one eye that's. You're saying you're blind. Is it like legally blind or is it fully blind in one eye?
So it's legally blind, but it's like, I can only see blurred shapes. Like I can't read out of it. Sorry. I couldn't like drive, obviously. Like if for some reason I were to lose the sight in my right eye, I wouldn't be allowed to drive. I cannot see. I couldn't even enjoy television shows. And we've got like a 40-inch TV, but there's no way I could watch it. And I've tried with my left eye because it's not just, I was stupid. I was 6 years old didn't know any better. I was outside unsupervised and thought it was fun to play with car antennas. And back in the 80s, you know, they had these awesome metal car antennas that would just go back and forth.
Yeah.
So I found a way to get up at the same level as the hood on the car, and I pulled the antenna back like this and let go, smack. And so it's shattered my lens, damaged the retina, damaged the rods and cones in the back of my eye. Like, it's all fucked up. My own fault. But I mean, I was 6. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, it's not like you're like 6. Hey, I'm really concerned about my rods and cone in my eye.
Right, exactly. I all I remember is like kind of crying, but it was blood, and I walking in and saying like, "Hey, Dad, I did something to my eye," and his face going pale. Me not knowing what was going on, but thinking it was cool that an ambulance was going to pick me up. I was like, "I'm going to the hospital," because I'd never been.
Yeah.
Other than being born, apparently, but.
Yeah, so like for me, going on a different level, so you have like a blurry side where so when I'm listening on my left, it is Charlie Brown teacher all day long.
Okay.
All right, I hear you're talking to me. I have not fucking one clue what you just said to me. So let me turn and look at you because I don't know what the hell you just said. And it's kind of interesting. There's just, you know, my poor wife has to deal with me being like, what? And asking her that like 5 times.
I'm sorry.
No, and I'm like, hey, and usually she's awesome about it, but there's just days where she's like, I said this, and I'm like, I get it. I'm sorry. And I feel bad because it's not her fault. If I'm in another room or if there's literally any noise going on, I'm a mess. I have to be like, there's any noise, I have to be like 5 feet from you, and I got to be able to look right at your face because I can read lips. No, it's just different. It's a different way to, not that I'm saying mine's worse or better. It just, I can kind of relate on the idea of like, okay, well, this part of me isn't quite working the way I expect it to. So here's how you compensate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, JG says he's a graphic designer. A graphic artist is like a comic book artist.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's a little too simplistic, but
it's a good way to put sort of a nod towards what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then he says he got a fractured jaw. He was more interested in how he was going to be cared for at the hospital than the damage. Also, too, Joe, I was going to say, like, you were 6, not 16 or 26, because we've heard stories of many 16-year-olds doing completely stupid shit. And we've heard many, 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 probably more stories of 26-year-olds doing stupid, ignorant shit. So I feel you on that, for sure. So, yeah, fellas.
It is what it is.
Are we out of beers?
I mean, I'm kind of working on this one.
But we have an after show for that. So
there you go.
Yeah, there's still some in here. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not trying to open up what I have in here.
I have that left.
I'm not.
Hey, we all sound like old people now. We're all adults.
Hey, I have this left.
Wisdom.
A double fruited beer.
You know, I think it's either a yes or a no. I'm not sure that it's gonna land in the middle somewhere. You're gonna love it or hate it.
This is stout, but I went from seltzer to oatmeal stout to double IPA or New England hazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good for the regular show, man.
I mean, the double
on the gamut.
The double sour, I can't do that shit.
It's a little late for that.
It is a little late for that. Oh man. Well, you guys,
25.
Doug, before we get to Doug, Doug's talked about this on the show a bunch of times. If you heard it, you heard it, but he'll say it again too. But Doug has an interesting relationship with sours. So, do you have an interesting relationship with sours? Do they fuck with your stomach? Do you have to watch how many you drink? Because it becomes an acidity issue for some people. No?
No, not an issue for me. The only issue I have is making sure I watch the AVB, but that's for anything I drink, not just sour specifically.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle of both of you, I would say.
Hence
I
the
have
water.
I'm not saying I have to watch my sours, but as I get older, I don't know. They kind of mess with my stomach a little bit. And then some of them, too, it's a palate issue. Like, I want to be able to taste what's going on. And if you're at the long end of your palate, it's probably not the best time for you to be doing sours.
Oh, no. I mean, if I have any say in it, I will spend an evening and drink exclusively sours. I won't stray to other things because it's nice to be able to focus on that palate. I don't feel like I can have, a pale ale and a stout and then move on to sours. I don't feel like I'm going to get the full experience if I do that. That's not always the case, but definitely my buddy Cecil in Indianapolis, he has access to Upland, and
Cecil!
Upland, he does some really they do some really good sours, and he's been able to get me some great stuff from Upland. And so we've spent evenings just sampling Upland sours, and it's been fantastic. And that's a whole different experience than going to Fobab and like, hey, I just had 15 barrel aged stouts. Let's go to the sour room. Yeah. That's stop drawing after so long,
That's what I'm talking about. Doug, you want to talk about your sour?
My sour things are just like, I am more on the tart end than the sour end. The sour end, just like, I have one of them, like, I can't have anymore because my stomach is just like, that's enough. So, but if it's tart, I can handle a few.
Look at that with his ears ringing. See that, Joe?
I do. Yeah, he heard us talking. He knew.
Ears ringing like the mask too, Cecil. Yeah. So, I guess it's time to wrap up here, guys. Anything else?
Thanks for having me on. This is fun as always.
Joel, it's always great to have you on, dude, because here's the thing. It's always beer centric. It's always fun. It's always able to discuss a lot of different stuff. So, man, thanks for being on again.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Joe, a little quick refresher on what I have streaming at the bottom there.
Yeah, so Drink Here, DRINKHE.RE, is a soon to launch text only global drink database, basically. So seltzers and breweries and cideries, distilleries, all located in one spot, and simple. So if you want to find something in North America, the US, Pennsylvania, you'll have everything listed in that state in alphabetical order and the town they're in, and then links to their websites. Nothing fancy, but enough to know if you want to find out what's around you, or if you're traveling to, say you want to Washington State and you want to see what's there. It's really easy to find what you're looking for.
Excellent. Joel, we will see you. How about late in the fall? Come back.
Sounds good.
Good.
Okay.
I'm sure you better drink all my beer.
Okay.
What'd you say, Doug? I didn't hear that.
I cheer him, but I drank all my beer. So.
Wow. All right, Joel, we'll talk to you soon.
Joel. Thanks for being on.
Okay, buddy.
Peace. All right, man. You want me to go with my evaluations? All right. So, as much as it pains me to say, that was the most disappointing beer I had tonight.
It'll happen.
Now, and here's the thing: it's a malt beverage, and I am generally not a fan of those. It's It smells like an old fashioned, doesn't really taste like one. 12% ABV. So it's the highest ABV I had, at least from label perspective. I'm going to tell you, top billing is really tough tonight because this vanilla latte was excellent. But it has to be the cellared coffee dino s'mores from.
Well, of course.
And even if it wasn't cellared, it would be better than that other beer. But I mean, by a hair. This is just a fucking excellent beer. If you have it fresh, if you have it cellared, it's superb. It's really is. If anybody can find this, I know it's not easy to find if you're not in the Chicago area, Midwest. Really, really good. You should get yourself some of this.
Joel, do you mind if I bring you back on and you can do your 3? You there? Hear me?
I am here. I don't know if you hear me. Hello.
Okay.
So
we got to do your 3. Let's do it.
I started with a pale ale. I'm going to say that's the bottom of the 3 only because of style. It has nothing to do with the quality of it because it was a fantastic pale. Reminded me slightly of a New England IPA, not quite, but there was a slight citrus there, I think because of the hops. Fantastic beer, but still bottom of the 3 for me. I don't know where all my cans are. Here it is. The iced mocha was probably my favorite because of the taste, and I love coffee, so it was like a boozy Starbucks mocha. Very happy with that. The middle, I think, would be the French toast, only because the blackberry French toast was probably a little too hot. I think if I aged this probably 6 months or a year, it would be not quite as boozy and a little bit more together as far as flavors go. The blackberry to me tastes a little bit like the imitation blackberry, but I think over time that would go away. Mostly because of that booziness is real hot and heavy and is very taste forward. I will find out. I'm going to save the other one. That came in a 2-pack, so I'm going to save the other one for November. My birthday is always a big drinking hullabaloo or whatever. So
barrel age fest.
Yes. So I mean,
barrel age fest.
So yeah, the fun part about Fobab is it always happens like right around my birthday. One year it happened on my birthday, so Cecil, Jer was there, and we volunteered. So we got there at 6 a.m., helped out with the judging. We sorted all the beers, gave them to the brewery people who were judging them, the beer judges and whatnot. And so we started drinking beer at 7 a.m. and we had a break for breakfast. And then we were sampling what didn't make it on in the judging rounds until lunch. And we took a break for lunch. And then we sampled a little bit more. And then the festival actually started. So we were drinking, we counted in 2 days. 1 year, the year it happened on my birthday, and 1 year we started at 7 a.m. on a Friday. We did all the drinking and stuff, did the festival, and then on Saturday, Cecil and I hit 8 different Chicagoland breweries, and then that night we had some bottles that we sampled. We sampled 130 different beers in 2 days, which by the end of that, you're not going to really be able to judge it, but it was fantastic to be able to have that experience. Not that that matters, but yeah, those are my 3.
That sounds like one of my weekends. 130 beers tasted in a weekend.
Oh, so but back to the point though, they've canceled Fobab this year, so Cecil, Jer, and I are getting together at his house. He's got a fantastic cellar. We're gonna have our own little mini Fobab for my birthday.
All right, I want some pictures of that shit because I want
you will probably even do video, and it'll be embarrassing. It's gonna be awesome.
I want to see it because I am so jealous that I.
Damn. Yeah. Bye, Joe.
Cheers.
On that note, bye, Joel. You have like the best birthday ever.
So we got to do yours, man.
January 2nd, it sucks.
What?
What do you mean? My birthday is January 2nd. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, my birthday is September 13th, which is
better.
better.
Well, the reason my birthday sucks. Well, the reason my birthday sucks is because it's hard to plan anything because it's the winter.
Yep.
So anyway,
so what you got, man?
that's why I really never do anything on my birthday. But it's cool. I'm resolved. I'm resolved to that. It's fine.
I don't like doing a lot of things on my birthday either. I just want to sit around and hang out.
Right, and that's why January 2nd is really cool because I'm like, we can't do shit, so fuck it. Like it's already built in.
Like next year will be my 50th birthday, so I wouldn't mind doing something on that day. But yeah.
Plus, I think we've already talked about this. January 2nd is the last day people want to party. We've already been through the holidays, New Year's Day. We're tired of that shit. Sorry, Greg. Fuck you. So anyway, unless, Doug, it's on a weekend. If it's on a weekend, college football's going and NFL's going. Well, maybe not this year, of course.
Either are going to be on, my friend.
On the weekend, my birthday's pretty damn cool. On a weekday, it's horrible. Anyway, the seltzer's the worst. It's always going to be the worst with a beer guy like me. This wasn't a bad one though. It kind of warmed up on me. If you rewind the tape, you'll see initial reaction wasn't good, but I think it was because it was just the mango and it was pretty intense. Carbon forest seltzers are pretty good though. If that's your thing. If it's not, even if it's not your thing, I would say try them. And then I don't know. We have a tie because I can't figure it out. And I've been trying the whole time between Hotspot Hazy from Carbon 4 and Town Hall Brewing, the old Black H2O Oatmeal Stout. I still have some in here. I still got a full glass, but I'm gonna finish this post production because it warmed up pretty good and it was a nice drinker. So yeah, Doug. Next week. Dog, I should know better than this. But we're gonna next week. Dun dun dun. Next week is your favorite Mad Elf fanatic.
It's Kevin McKeever. Has to be Kevin. And we should also talk about the idea that we booked an awesome September.
Yes.
All female guest September.
Oh, he dropped it.
Yeah, so like we have some fucking great September lined up. We got a fucking guy who doesn't like Mad Elf, so next Friday. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Kevin's with the City Dads. It's going to be a great conversation. Actually, this is the first time we had him on just himself, I believe.
What's that?
I don't think we've had him on. He was on the Mad Elf.
He was on the Mad Elf stream, but he hasn't been on Friday. So, yeah.
Right. So, and then that leads us into female September, and we're not going to drop any names, but we have...
We got a list.
Couple... Well, one was on the show before. So, but I think I'm not sure about the others. Yeah, so
we have two authors. We have one fucking just awesome friend of ours, and then we have we have three authors because the one who's been on the show before is also an author. So it's gonna be fun. Also, Badger Beer Hour. By the way, your show this week was fucking awesome.
You liked it?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm not even from Wisconsin. I'm like, this is great. Like, I love watching it. I do.
That's awesome, man. Everybody check it out. You go there, go to YouTube page. You can see the show that we did, especially if you're in Wisconsin. But even if you're not, I guess you can learn something, Doug said. It's very, very, it's completely different than this show. It's highly produced. And the Bear Baron is awesome. He brings in great guests. He has great news. Landon does awesome on the video. So it's awesome. I love it. It's a great project. It only happens once a month, but I'm really proud of it, and I think it's great.
I think it is good.
Dog, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's kind of a little bit of stressful, though, because things have to happen in them. That's why I love this show, because we just get on, we talk. Joel was like, the whole week. Was like, hey, what are we talking about?
Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get on, and we'll just have a fucking blast.
What do you want to like? I kind of turned it on him.
Had a great time, and it didn't matter, right?
Right, and I turned it mostly on him. I'm like, what do you want to talk about? Because Doug and I really don't give a fuck. We do this 56 times a year.
But it's like, yeah, let's just fucking bullshit. It'll be great.
All right.
Always
I just want our guests to get their word out, and I just want to have fun. That's it.
Yep, for sure.
Doug, I'll see you next week with Kevin McKeever, and we'll poke him up. Kevin doesn't like ghosts either, or what is he? There's something else he doesn't like. We got to figure this out, and we're going to poke Kevin next week.
I have a cellared Mad Elf I might pull out for that show.
Oh, okay. Doug, I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.